Yes, correct. 58. Masechta Shabbos 58. Ushmul Amar Kavla the Abdutna. We were debating what the kavul is, and Shmuel says it's a badge that the avodim would wear to show that they were an eved. Did Shmuel say this? V'amar Shmuel. Yotzei eved b'chosim shabbat savar. That an eved could go out on Shabbos if the band that he wore was around his neck. Avalo b'chosim shabbat, but still a kasha about the eved. So lo kasha. Hada avid le rabbe. Hada avid yilanav. Depends if his master made it for him, or if he made it by himself. And this is kind of a thing that it would point out whose eved it is.
Gracias.
So since
all right.
Because the one that the master made for him, the person's not going to take it off to show somebody else because he's worried about his master's that he always wears. But something that he made by himself, he might take it off and show somebody. And that's why we wouldn't allow him to go out with it.
Thank you.
So the Mayu came to Lahadish Shmuel. So how do we set up according to Shmuel the Avid Le Rabbe that our mission that said you're not allowed to go out with a cup is one that the master made. So b'chaysim shebiksusa mylo. And what's the problem? Why don't you go out? Why don't you go out with it if it's worn on his clothing? Because Dylan nifsik. Because it may fall off mikpalei, and he'll take off the garment and fold it katfe and carry the whole garment on his shoulder, which is going to be a problem because it's not b'derech malbush. If you go out wearing a talis, normal, it's not a burden. But if you fold the talis and fold it over your shoulder, because it's a burden. All the chachamim who worked under the Reish Kalusa, they would not go out with one of these garments that had a seal on it, except for you, Rav Chinina. Because he doesn't care whether you wear it or not. But the other ones would fold it and carry it, so that's why they're not allowed to go out with it on Shabbos. Gufa. Amar Shmuel. We're going into detail this little thing that we mentioned, that the eved can go out with the thing that he wears around his neck, but not on his garment. An eved can go out with this thing around his neck, but not on his clothing. The Ramin will ask your kasha. It says, Lo yitzeh eved b'chosim shebetzavaro, v'lo b'chosim shebiksuso. So right away we have a kasha, because this brisa says you can't go out with the chosim shebetzavaro. Now, the brisa has other dinim. Zev v'zeh makablim tuma. Neither are makabel tuma. The lo bezuk shebetzavar, not if he wears a bell around his neck. Aval yotzehu bezuk shebechsuso. He can go out with a belt that's tied to his garment. Zev v'zeh makablim tuma. And both of those things would be makabel tuma. V'lo teitze be'ema lo b'chosim shebetzavaro. You don't go out with a sort of like a dog tag for the animal. Not something tied to his blanket or something that he wears. That's the animal. If you tie a belt to his garment, the animals or the garment or the bell is around his neck, because we said anything that's not made for human use, if it's made for an animal use, not makabel tuma. But anyways, we have a kasha. Previously, Shmuel said, Yotzev b'chosim shebetzavar. The Brisa says, Lo yotzev b'chosim shebetzavar. So maybe you'll answer simply, like we said before, Lema hada avid le rabbe hada avid yul nafshe. One is talking about when his master made, which we said is a problem, and the one that he makes is not a problem. So no, I divided avid le rabbe. In both cases, we're talking about with the master made. How come one is a problem to go out and one is not? Kan b'shel mateches. The kan b'shel tit. One is made out of metal, the other is made out of clay. Now, why should that be a difference? If the master is going to be makbid and yotzinbo, because again, because he's afraid that the master, because he always wants him to have it, he'll carry it down to Shal Rabbi. But if it's made out of clay, he won't necessarily care. That makes logical sense. From the fact that later on the Brisa said Zev v'Zeh mekablin tum. Neither of these kinds are mekabel. Now, if they both are talking about metal, hani lo mekabel tuma. These are not mekabel tuma, but ha kelim didu. But other kelim made out of metal mekabel tuma. But if you tell me it's made out of clay, hani lo mekabel tuma, kelim didu mekabel tuma. The clay things are not mekabel tuma. Batani clay abonim, clay galon, clay adoma. Ein mekabel tuma. Lo medivrei Torah, lo medivrei sofrim. El shmamina shmatecha shmamina. It's a good raya that in both cases we're talking about metal. Amar Mar. The low bezuk shabbat savaro, you can't go with the bell around your neck. We can go out with the bell on your garment. Now, zuk shabbat savaro, why can't you go out with the bell around your neck? Dilma mifsik vasilesui, because it'll break, fall, and you come to carry it. So zuk shabbat susanami. You can break there as well, and you'll carry it. Lechash dilma mifsik vasilesui. It was woven. The garment, the bell was woven. And there we said it before that we're not goizer by orug. If something is woven, all these takshitin that we talked about, if they're mamish woven to the garment, then it's not a problem. If they're tied to it, we said that can come loose, and then it's a problem. But if it's woven, it's not a problem. Amar Marlo, Seitze Behema, Lo b'chosam shebitzavara, lo b'chosam shebiksusa. You can't go out with any kind of seal, whether it's on its neck or its garment. Lo b'zuk shebitzavara, lo b'zuk shebitzavara, not by the bell, on its neck or on its clothing. And we said zev zeh mekabel tuma, neither are mekabel tuma. Afraid to come over zuk behem mekabel tuma. Why should a bell not be mekabel tuma? Reminu zuk shel behem atmeya. The shel delet toh. Now, a door is not considered a kli. It's considered part of the house. It's mechuber to the karka. And anything that's mechuber to the karka is not mekabel tuma. Now, if it was originally a bell that was hanging on a door, shel delet vasol behem, and you switched it to an animal, tmeya, then it will revert to mekabel tuma. Shel behema, but if it belonged to a behema, and what if it was behema, and we said there that is makabel tuma, but now you converted it to a doorbell. You do not lose its tummy status, even though we said normally a bell is tied to a door is tar because it's part of chubur lakarka, but we're talking about a kli that was makabel tuma because it was a usable kli used by the animal. And now just because you hang it on the door doesn't remove that. There's a reason for that. Shekolat kelim yordilade tumasam b'machshav. So this is the mechanism of how a kli becomes tummy in the first place. So, for example, if I designate through machshava alone that a piece of metal is going to be used for a certain kind of kli, even though I haven't fashioned it yet, it's already makabel tuma, so machshava alone. However, a kli cannot lose its tumadik status to become tar if you break it. And by hanging it on the door, you didn't do a shina ma'isa. But anyways, we have a kasha hakum over there. It says a dels of behemoth's tar. Here it says it's tummy. Like kasha hadi islay inbol hadi leslie in the clapper within the bell. A bell that has a clapper, so it's a fully functional kli, is makabel tuma. A bell that does not have a clapper is not a functional kli and is not makabel tuma. That's how the Gemara tries to resolve this kasha. Gemara says, I don't understand. Manav shach. Manahu. What do you mean? If it's a kli, that means if you have a bell without a clapper, well, you could use it for something else. If it's a kli, I would be the Leslie in bell. It should be a kli. Ilavman, if it's not a kli, so inbul mashul mana. The fact that it's got a clapper makes it a kli. The more says in, yes. That means something that makes a sound in something metal becomes tummy. And we learn that out from a pasuk. Shenema. Kol davar asher yavo ba'esh, taviru ba'esh v'taher. Ach b'mei nidah yischata. Kol asher lo yavo ba'esh, taviru b'mayim. Anything that doesn't, this is the Kabbalah Kachpolta. Anything that gets its flavor or it's used through direct fire, you got to be matire it through fire. If it doesn't get it through direct fire, you can do it through hot water. But the concept of davar, afilu dibor yavo ba'esh, that means even something that makes noise. So since the clapper added to a bell makes noise, it's now makes it a kli that becomes tameh, and therefore it will require being matire. So b'mayu kimta. So therefore, you tried to say the case above, where we said that the thing that the animal wears is not mekabel tuma. You described it b'dilas leinbo, doesn't have a clapper. There was a middle part of the brayso. It said v'lo bezugja b'tzavaro. It can't go out with a bell around its neck. Now, how could they be both mekabel tuma? Either Leslie inbo, you just told me it's not mekabel tuma. Me mekabel tuma. It's not mekabel tuma if it doesn't have an inbo. Reminu. Also zagin, if you make bell v'lumach kashet flarisa ulamit v'chosform, or for example, they put a bell on a some kind of cover of a book, or for a crib. Arisa is a crib. Ulamit v'chos tinokos, or little towels that you use for the babies. So it depends. If the bell has a clapper, it's tummy. Nitlu in and if they had a bell and therefore they were tummy, and you took the clapper, yet they still remain tumma. More says that's not a problem. Because you could use it for a cup. Oh no, you could. It makes noise. Avagodol, tachshutulei, but for a godol, it doesn't necessarily need to be functional. It's decorative. Avagadolesli, and they would wear it as a decorative item, and therefore that's why in that case it would remain tummy. Omer nitl and belay, and you have a bell, and you took away its clapper. Adain tumos nalei remains tummy. Now what for? Lamai chazu. What kind of kli is it? Zero. So number one, even a layperson, not an expert craftsman, can take a clapper, put it back on the bell. Such a thing, even though a kli has been broken into parts, and you might think that by breaking a kli into parts, it's going to be mavatal its tumah status, like you broke the kli. If a layperson can reassemble it easily, then it's considered that even though it's separated, it's still makabel tumah. Mosif Rava Hazug vayin bil chibur, that the bell and its clapper they're always viewed as a chibur, and implying that if you separated them, they're not mechuber, and it would break it as a kli. Maybe this I have to learn. Even though they're in a status where they're not connected, it's commanded mechaber dami. We view it as if it is connected. I'll show you examples that it's not. Vatanya mispoires shoproki. You have scissors, but that can be separated into the two parts. The Ismail shoritni, and the carpenter uses a something that makes the surface smooth, and they're also made out of two parts. Chibur letuma, so they are considered connected when it comes to them acquiring tumah, but when you come to retire it through mikvah or through paraduma, if it was, for example, tumas meis, you have to be maza on each one separately. Now, the ilo chibur, if what we're talking about by the inbul, it's not a chibur. Afilu Tumah Namilo. It should not be a chibur regarding Tumah. Amar Rav, really, you're right. Dvar Torah, the Shas Malacha, when you're actually using the item and they're connected, it's considered a chibur bein l'tumah bein l'azah. In terms of the ability to acquire the tumah and getting rid of the tumah through azah, it's considered a chibur. Now, when you're storing it and you're not using it, shalom b'shas malacha, and they're separated, they're not considered a chibur. For example, if a sheretz drops on one piece, it doesn't automatically matami the other piece. Ein a chibur lo l'tumah v'lo l'azah. Now, but the gazru al tumah shalom b'shas malacha, regarding tumah, they made a gzeira that if a sheretz even falls on one part of it, even when you're not using it, even when you're just storing it, we're going to say that they're both tumah. Why? Because we don't want people to forget that when they're being used together and the sheretz falls on one part of it, we matami the whole thing. So we do the same thing even when they're separated. We wouldn't think that way. That it's a gzeira midrabban, but that's by tumah. Al-azah, when it comes to undoing the tumah through mikvah, they made the same gzeira because mishum azah shelo b'shas malacha. That you need to put there. You have to azah on each item. Why? Because if you have them separated and each one became tummy separately, you'd have to be matar each one separately. So the same thing, we demand separate hazah on each piece, even when they're machaber at the time of malacha. Rava explains, Abai, that's how Abai explains it. Rava explains it differently. That since you can take a bell without a clapper and bang it against something else and it makes noise, so there's the same thing. And we'll bring a brisa to support that. Tomorrow we'll learn at 9 o'clock.
Can I make a suggestion
Okay.
Can I make a suggestion for tomorrow night for the Novi?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shai Schechter is speaking at the shul at 8:45. I would be interested in listening. I don't know if anybody else would.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Fine, I'll finish at 8:45. We'll do it in 45 minutes.
You want to do that, or you want to start like at 7:45?
Just start at 8 o'clock. Start at 8 o'clock. We'll be able to finish by 8:45.
8:45.
Sure.
Great. Tomorrow morning at 9, you said?
Tomorrow at 9.
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Okay.
Just remind me, Johnny, to finish at 8:45. Okay.
Good.